Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Kathleen Bertrand, BronzeLens Film Festival. Ooh. And welcome to BronzeLens Live. Very excited to have our guest today, but before we get to him, I want to welcome some of our people that are with us today. The L. Baldwin, thank you for joining us. I am Tinetta, I got it. Takes me a minute. Tasha Demos, thank you. Ria, good to see you. Our guest is here, but we're going to hold up for just a second. Hey, David Slocum Photography with those fabulous photos that you're taking. Really appreciate you joining us. Diona.ta, thank you for joining us. Let me see. This is Hey Stamper. Thank you for joining us. Tash Demos. Yes. William Roebuck. Woo! It wouldn't be a day without you, William. You join us every week and we're so grateful. Thank you so much. I saw that picture that you posted, so that brought back fond memories. I appreciate that, William. Let me see. Chemistry joined us. How you doing? Zero Jen joined us, and Murphy Muse. We appreciate you, everybody. Thank you for what you're doing to support our online presence. BronzeLens has been doing this since May as a way to be present with you, even though we can't be with you and give hugs and fist bumps like we usually do. Shari Solario has joined us, so glad to see you. And so I'm going to go ahead and invite our guest in. He's here, he's close by, and there he is. I'm going to go live with him. And one moment, please. He is coming, walking through the door. There he is.
Hey.
Hi, Taharka. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm wonderful. So glad to have you with us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank
One
you
of the things I like to do a couple of announcements, if you don't mind just holding on for a minute.
Okay.
First of all, our condolences to everyone that has lost someone close to them during this pandemic period. It's been rough for so many reasons with everybody. And we also want to send our condolences to the families of Reverend C.T. Vivian and Representative John Lewis, who were trailblazers for the work that we currently do. Whatever it is that you're doing, know that they were trailblazers because they spoke up for us at times when no one else was. And our hearts are with the families, and we just want them to know that we're thinking of them today, and we appreciate the work that they did on our behalf. It's up to us to keep the work going, you know. The other thing I want to mention is always make sure that you're washing your hands, that you're masking up, taking hand sanitizer with you, all those things that you need to do to stay safe, because we want to see you when BronzeLens comes back to our original form. And it's going to come one day, but we're going to remain connected, and we hope that everybody will be there to join us on that other side. So make sure you do everything you can do to take good care. So Taharka, I want to talk a little bit about you, Studio 1027. Thank you for joining us, because you were introduced to me by, I believe, LaRonda Sutton.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And LaRonda was like, oh, you need to meet this guy down at 7th Judges State. Yes, LaRonda. And she's my board member, so I paid attention to what she said. And
She's so awesome.
She is awesome.
Yeah.
She is awesome. And I gave her a call, gave you a call. And I think we just hit it off from day one.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate the work that you've done at Cinema. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. You are Director of Careers in New Emerging Media areas.
Yes.
Careers in New Emerging Media areas at Georgia State University.
Right.
And you help Opportunity Youth find employment as storytellers in film and interactive media.
Right.
Which is important. And let me tell you how great he was, y'all. So after we talked, he said, well, isn't there something that I can do? Because I have, you know, all of this, these wonderful students that are doing great things with us. And so I said, well, yes, we could certainly use some volunteers. And Taharka sent his most recent graduates of his cohort. When I tell you these folks were top of the game, professional in every way.
Thank you.
We had assistance with our online presence. We had assistance with photography. We had assistance with videos. We had assistance with editing. And they were amazing, Taharka. I just need you to know that, and everybody to know what great work you're doing with our students.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you, Kathleen. They had a great time too.
Yeah, how did that program start?
So cinema started with the cinema's housed in the Alonzo A. Krim Center, which is housed in the College of Education at Georgia State University. So Dr. Brian Williams and Dana Salter wrote a grant, which was prompted by JP Morgan Chase. JP Morgan Chase wanted to engage Opportunity Youth in Atlanta specifically. So Dr. Brian Williams and Dana Salter wrote a grant that took advantage of what was going on, what is going on in Georgia at the time, which was content creation. They saw that as an opportunity. So they wrote a grant that would train Opportunity Youth for 22 weeks and try to get them familiar with interactive media and film production so that they could get jobs in this burgeoning industry. And it'll be back in burgeoning again. But in this just booming industry in Atlanta, this film industry. So that's how it started 2 years ago.
Great work, just great work. Everybody was kind, but professional.
Yeah.
And you know, the true test is working alongside of pros, which are on my team, and they just melded perfectly. And I think Rhea is on this thread, and she just, you know, echoes everything that I say, because they were such an asset. Last year, everybody, was our 10th anniversary year, and we knew that our needs were vast. Rhea puts out a call each year for volunteers, and the volunteers that we got from your cohort were just amazing. So again, I'm going to spend a whole lot of time on that, but I want everybody to know what you do and what you're doing for this community here. You know, y'all, one of the things that we made a definite decision to do when BronzeLens began was to make sure that we are educating our community and doing whatever those things are, or partnering with whatever those entities are that educate our community. As you know, film in Georgia is fairly recent, and I'm saying fairly recent. We started 11 years ago, and it was just beginning to take off, but there were so many people that looked like us that had no clue that it was growing, as it was, or no clue as to what my role in it could be. And so that's why each year you find, excuse me, that's why each year you find that BronzeLens always takes time to have something around educating and moving people forward to whatever else is coming in the industry. And so that's what excited me about having you today. I'm not going to do all this talking because you're talking about a new topic that I had not heard of. And I think our listeners would be glad to hear what you're going to say relating to virtual production.
Yes, absolutely.
And you had me look at The Mandalorian.
Right. What did you think, by the way?
You wanted me to believe that what I think I saw, I didn't really see.
Right.
Because I saw deep, the set was beautifully done. And according to you, Taharka, what I saw wasn't really a set. It was all created with light. Or projection or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what is virtual production, and why is it important to the future of film production now?
So virtual production is using digital assets or digital environments in conjunction with physical assets or physical environments, physical sets, to create a visual composition. The reason it's important right now, and it's projected using LED, high definition LED screens. The environments are created in what they call a game engine. In this instance, it would be an Unreal Engine. And so the reason it's important is that, especially right now, it's a kind of technology that allows you to do things on the fly. So, for instance, let's say right now, this background behind me, let's say we're shooting a film right now, and we lose our light. There's, for some reason, we delay, and the sun is not in the correct position. With something like with virtual production, you can change the lighting on the fly. Everything is rendered in real time. Everything happens in real time. So you can change your background with relative quick turnover. I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot to change your entire background. Um, and so with the amount of restrictions that are in place right now with COVID and the amount of money that's been lost and all the things that have changed in the industry, I think it's important to have a production methodology that allows you to do so much with a limited amount of crew and with a limited amount of equipment. I mean, it's not like you have to go to the Arctic Circle to actually film a scene in the Arctic Circle and then change it from dawn to dusk within a matter of moments. So it's really
Wow.
fantastic technology. It's
Wow.
fantastic technology. So I'm excited about it.
So you mentioned something called the Unreal Engine.
Yes. Um,
What is that?
so Unreal Engine is a game engine, and it's fascinating to me because it's at its core, it's made to create video games. But it's been built out and iterated and iterated and iterated over the last couple of years to make it a very strong and robust software package for creating films as well.
Mhm.
So you can use Unreal Engine from everything from creating a video game to pre-visualizing your fight scenes to actually creating a full-blown film. And I actually used clips from, and the viewers can look this up. You can look it up when you have some time. It's a film called Rebirth on YouTube, and everything that you see, no matter how photorealistic it looks, it's actually done in Unreal Engine. So yeah, it's one of the things I use to recruit students, because when they see that, when they see what you can achieve with Unreal Engine, their minds are blown. The coolest thing about Unreal Engine is that it's free. You don't have to pay for it. It's completely free, and it's a very, very, very robust piece of software.
So, okay. What's the name of the film again that people can check out to see how this works? What is it
Yeah,
called?
it's called Rebirth.
And it's
It's on YouTube. You can find it on
on
YouTube.
on YouTube, on YouTube.
Mhm.
And how is it they get to access Unreal Engine at no cost? It doesn't cost them anything. Is it something you just download? Or how does it
Yeah,
work?
yeah. You just go to the website, download Unreal Engine onto your computer or your desktop or laptop, and then you just go from there. There are many learning resources that you can access on the Unreal Engine website, on YouTube, Udemy. Um, Unreal is really, they're Epic are the makers of Unreal, and they go to great lengths to make sure that people who use the software know how to use the software. So there's all kind of learning resources out there for people who want to know.
Oh, wow, that's great for people
Yeah,
that are at home and trying to become skilled in something else, or just to get even the tutorial. That sounds amazing.
it is. It is. There's two pieces of software we're going to be incorporating into cinema in January in our spring semester coming up. Of course, Unreal Engine is the first, but there's the Quixel. It's another piece of software called Quixel, and Quixel is a texturing software. So, for instance, let's say that I am a computer generated character, right? I start off when you create. Our students last semester were using a program called Maya to create computer generated software. When you create a computer generated image or character, they look like clay for the most part, or like plastic. So let's
Yes.
say you wanted to texture my hair. you would have to use, various methods to actually texture that hair. And it's a little bit of a process. With Quixel, you have an entire suite, an entire library of photorealistic textures that you can apply to your character in Unreal Engine. And here's the cool part. Quixel is also free, and it's packaged, and it runs in conjunction with Unreal Engine. Beautiful. It's beautiful.
Okay, Quixel, spell that.
Quixel.
Quixel. Okay,
Mhm.
all right. We're learning something today, y'all. This is education for me. You got to know. It's big education for me. I am the world's least tech savvy person. So
Oh, we gonna put you up on game, Kathleen. We're gonna put you up on game.
I love it though. I love that. I love that. So why should filmmakers even get excited about virtual production, that whole area? Why should filmmakers get excited about that as opposed to what they're normally doing?
Well, the beautiful thing about virtual production is that it's using tools, even though the LED screens are they're big and expensive, and there are other ways to engage with virtual production, and those ways, as I mentioned before, are free of charge. So you could build out an entire composition, and you could build out your establishing shot in Unreal Engine. You could build out certain scenes that you want to incorporate into your film in Unreal Engine, and if you learn it well enough, you can do an entire film in Unreal Engine, employing virtual production techniques. There's a guy named Matt Workman. I think his YouTube is Cinema Database, or Cinematography Database, I believe, and he's an independent user of virtual production. So he's one of those people that shows how he's always talking about ways to use technology that's on the cheaper side, the more independent side, to engage with virtual production and create virtual production compositions and films with very little space and with very little money spent. So it's a really
Oh, wow.
democratizing. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the question I was going to ask you. How does this scale down for an independent filmmaker? And most of the people that come to BronzeLens are indie filmmakers trying to create their content. And so this is going to save them money. Is that what you're saying? Or this can save them money?
This can definitely save them money. It definitely, it depends. There's so many ways to engage virtual production. There's so many. It's a very modular process, so you can make it your own,
Mhm.
and you can iterate on the fly and just really make it your own. So there's definitely ways that virtual production is democratizing the space as far as special effects are concerned, as far as really exotic backgrounds and exotic sets.
Mhm.
It's really exciting. It's really exciting. You don't really need. I mean, it would be nice to have those big LED screens that were in the Mandalorian, that were projecting the backgrounds, but it's not always necessary. You can still use a green screen and achieve some of the awesome things that they're achieving with virtual production. So there's very different ways that you can attack it.
Wow, wow. So has anybody that's watching this seen The Mandalorian? Because now I think you're going to look at it with a different eye, knowing that when they went from a morning scene to an evening scene, or it was all the same place, and you're saying that they could change that like that.
Yeah, and another cool thing about the virtual production workflow is even small things like reflections. So, if you're creating a digital set, if you have a digital set that's created in the computer that's being um, composited with green screen, you also have to take into account the shadows. You have to take into account the reflections that are in the eye or on
Mhm,
reflective surfaces.
mhm, mhm,
If you
mhm.
have if you have a virtual production set that's using LED screens, those LED screens are going to project those reflections, immediately, without extra personnel, without extra money being spent. So it's a very real time, very organic way to produce various shots and effects.
Let me reintroduce you for a couple of people that have just joined us. I'm talking with Taharka Sankara, and he is a friend of BronzeLens, but he is also the project director of cinema at Georgia State University. And cinema stands for Careers in New Emerging Media Areas at Georgia State University. And that is just tremendous what you're doing in that regard.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We're really excited. We have.
Go ahead.
No, we're coming up on our next semester. We're taking a little time because of COVID-19. Of course, we're taking a little time, but we'll be back in January to get things going again.
Okay. Someone just said, if you don't mind, can you? Hold on. Hold on. I'm trying to get to some of the questions already. I'm not so good at this. Ria, do you see that? Someone just said, if you don't mind something. Good. Oh, they asked, is this good to use for storyboarding?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Pre-visualization is a process, in my opinion, that is more robust and detail oriented than storyboarding. What's up, Dr. Davis out there? LaRose, what's up? But in my opinion, storyboarding is awesome. Storyboarding is dope. But let's say you can't draw. You can use. Cool thing about Unreal Engine is Unreal Engine has an entire asset library, and sometimes some of those assets are completely free. So you can go into Unreal Engine and create your entire composition right there. Like you can use Unreal Engine to create a 3-dimensional storyboard. It gets crazy, Kathleen. I'm telling you. You can also use Unreal Engine to create. You can put on a VR headset if your computer's VR ready, and engage your storyboard in 3-dimensional space, in virtual space. You can be standing right there with your characters while they fight or while they argue or while they make up, whatever they're doing. But you can definitely use it to storyboard.
So, one second. Would you mind repeating some of the things that you had? Okay, there's a link that's already here, the YouTube link that you mentioned. It's already here. Hey, Stamper, thank you very much. They've already put the Unreal Engine link here.
Appreciate that.
Quixel, I don't see that up yet. Arts to Work coming to Atlanta is excited to work with Taharka Cinema Program, Arts Alliance.
Hey, what's up, Wendy?
Okay, all right, all right. So as soon as someone can find that Quixel link, if you don't mind posting it, it's a little difficult for me to do that and do this too. Y'all know I'm doing good. I'm doing good to hold on here. So what else can your students of the cinema cohort expect from you when they get to your program in January?
Well, they can expect a deep dive into Unreal Engine. That's going to be our focus in January, from January until June. Their entire training process for this semester, and maybe even moving forward, is going to focus on virtual production, because it's going to be coming out of COVID-19. Virtual production is going to be insane, and the sooner marginalized students and marginalized communities can get on that train, the better off they'll be as content creators, because I'm telling you that the software is free. So you don't need to necessarily engage in a complete virtual production pipeline to set yourself up for employment on a virtual production set. You can study and practice in Unreal Engine or Quixel. You can understand the process of preparing assets to be used in a virtual production pipeline. So there's various ways to find employment on a virtual production set and in the film industry once everything gets kicked back up. But that's what students can expect coming back, is a deep dive into virtual production.
And how does one become a student in your program in the first place? How does that happen?
Well, they can go to our website, cinemaproject.gsu.edu. We do.
Say that again, a little slower, please.
Okay, my fault. Cinemaproject.gsu.edu.
Okay.
Yeah. And we'll be, we're always interviewing, we're always recruiting. Usually we like to be on the ground recruiting, which has kind of put a bit of a damper on our recruiting season this summer, because we like to visit high schools. We like to visit, various places where youth are really interested in content creation. So because of the weirdness of the times, we haven't been able to recruit in the way that we're used to. So we've had to rely on online things. So because of that, I would behoove anybody that's interested to reach out to our Instagram, which again is Cinema Project. I believe it's just Cinema Project, and definitely reach out to our website. We have my email's on the website. Email me anytime.
Is there an age requirement is this only for college students or just people interested in film? Is it open like that?
The cool thing is, and it's kind of a double-edged blade, because our mandate is to engage what they call opportunity youth, which is students who are 18 to 24, not engaged in any kind of educational opportunities or employment. So our students are not college students. We don't register college students, which is unfortunate, but it's also a great opportunity for students who slip the cracks. Students, people who are not actually enrolled in college.
So someone said, how about mid-career people interested in a new career? Is that a possibility of something that they could be part of your cohort at Cinema?
Well, it's definitely a possibility. Yeah, we have different ways that we engage people. So the hardcore formal training is unfortunately limited to opportunity youth, who match the criteria I just mentioned. But we do have opportunities where we engage the community in a more in a way that doesn't limit who actually gets access. So you can be over the age of 24 or under the age of 18, or maybe switching careers at some point. There's a lot of people who don't fit the mandate that we would love to engage with. So to that end, we're definitely going to be establishing more ways to engage, workshops that exist outside of formal training, where we can just engage the people who are interested, irrespective of what their demographic fit is.
Okay. That's good. That's good to know that it kind of expands enough to get the community involved. And so that's always good. Colleges, sometimes people see them as foreboding and,
Right.
well, they only accept, but these days everybody's about learning. And we're learning too much virtually, which is why I really appreciate having those links if people want to follow those, to just kind of do some research on your own, see about those two programs. Someone asked also, is Unreal Engine considered CGI? That's question one. And will these type of virtual productions replace real actors in the future?
Yes, Unreal Engine is definitely considered. Well, Unreal Engine is considered. It's listed as a game engine, but the cool thing about Unreal Engine is it allows you to render your composition in real time. So real time rendering preceded virtual production. 2 years ago, real time rendering was the thing. That was the thing. That was the crazy thing. The fact that you didn't need anybody that's ever shot a film, when you have to render your timeline, when you have to dedicate, a huge chunk of your GPU to actually create your film. Unreal Engine does something similar in real time. There is no clicking render, sitting back and watching it render. Light renders in real time, shadows render in real time, reflections render in real time. Your digital assets render in real time. So yes, while Unreal Engine would be considered CGI because you can bring in assets from a CGI, a modeling software like Maya or 3D Max, it's considered a game engine that's become more robust over time. But as far as the second question is concerned, I don't know. I don't know if people will be replaced in the next 10 years by by like AI, or I mean, they're definitely working on it. Don't get it twisted. They're definitely working on that. But you can't replace that human touch, in my opinion.
I agree with you with that. I
Mhm.
certainly agree because as much as things remain continuing to upgrade and new creations and all of these things that are happening in the now, there's something real basic about the human part of all of this. And
Absolutely.
you see avatars and all of these all of these things that try to be human, but
Exactly.
aren't really human because there's nothing that replaces that real skill that
And
an actor brings to a set,
that's exactly right. And the crazy thing is, like, just take Avatar for an example. No matter how robust or advanced these technologies become, they still require human input. So you still need the motion capture, the performance capture headset to capture those incredible performances that we saw in Avatar. You still need the motion capture suits to capture those motions that made it all feel so organic. So that kind of stuff doesn't happen in a vacuum. It'll always need human input.
I mean, the nuances alone, just the raising of an eyebrow,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
those little things, a smirk instead of a smile,
right.
those little things like that. So Taharka, I have some words here that I want to share with you
Okay,
because every week we have what I call power words.
okay.
And these power words are words that I feel are consistent among people that are really excelling in this film, television industry.
Hmm.
The words are creativity,
Mm,
collaboration, perseverance, and passion.
mm.
So pick a number from 1 to 4, and I will tell you what your word is today.
All right, I will go with one.
I love that. Number one is
Ah,
collaboration.
excellent,
Yes,
excellent. Yeah. Um, should I just speak on what collaboration means to me, or
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
okay?
And your work. And your work, yes.
Yeah, I mean, collaboration to me, so there would be no cinema without collaboration, without the help of my staff, without the help of um, the administrators who work in the Alonzo and Crim Center and who run the Crim Center. Um, you know, cinema stands on the shoulders of some incredible people. Um, Dr. Brian Williams, Dana Salter, people like, people that have been members of my staff, Gabby McNichol, Olama Opara, dope people who, you know, did their thing, really did their thing in service of people who they had never met. Even other people like Asa Hilliard. I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with Asa Hilliard, but Asa Hilliard was somebody that is a giant in the educational world who spent some time at the Alonzo A. Crimp Center. So we stand on those shoulders. I remember one time I had a student, a really reserved student. So it was really interesting to have him, burst into my office with this look on his face. But he came in and he was just super excited. And I was like, "What's going on, man?" He was like, he shook my hand, pulled me in for a hug, and he was not that animated, you know what I'm saying? And was like, I got a better job. So he was working 12-hour shifts, loading trucks, graveyard, you know what I mean? And he showed his employer his graduation certificate from cinema, and right on the spot, he was promoted from working the warehouse to doing graphic design for less time and more money.
Wow.
Yeah, so that those type of situations would not you can't just that's not something you can do by yourself. That
Mhm.
takes staff, that takes partners, that takes an advisory council that's got your back. So you see me, you hear me talking about cinema, but just know behind me and with me are hundreds of people who made a success story like that one possible. So collaboration within the space of cinema is that's how I feel about that. But even film in general, um, as filmmakers, y'all know, Kathleen, you know that it's thug life. Like doing a film, it's thug life. You know what I mean? Like that is a blue collar thing. People get paid millions of dollars to do it, but there's a reason for that. I shot a short film recently. I have flat feet. Like like my arches are done. Like I have flat feet. And by the by the end of that film, that short film, I was crippled. Like I could barely walk because it's such an extensive process. But I wasn't the only one working. It was the cinematographer. It was it was all the actors and actresses. It was, people who were bringing in food, people who weren't even getting paid to do it. So that, I think, if there is any industry that is built on collaboration, it's film. And I'm thankful for it because I think it makes it better because of it. It's a communal thing, which is dope.
So there's another word I want you to speak to, and I know I told you one, but you're special. Where's my little list? That word is passion, because I want to talk about how you got from Central Valley of California to Atlanta. You know, how did you get to Atlanta? Inspired by the films of Spike Lee. How'd you get here?
Yeah, I mean, it really did have a lot to do with Spike. I saw Do the Right Thing for the first time, and I traced Do the Right Thing to Clark Atlanta University, where he learned from Dr. E, or Dr. Herbert Eichelberger, who also taught me. So shout out to Dr. E. But that was the trajectory, and I also do music. So my brother and I were interested in music, and so it was just a beautiful confluence between everything that we do. So that was it. Spike inspired it. Dr. E and all the professors at Clark Atlanta University really fostered it and kept it going. Dr. E, Miss Lundy, all those dope people.
So your word is passion.
Passion.
Talk about that.
Passion. Passion is that thing that makes you continue. You know what I mean? Like for me, passion is that when you are doubting whether you want to continue something, passion is that source of energy that you can draw from, that ensures that you complete the process, that you complete the task. For me, that's what passion is for me.
Definitely, definitely. It's as I used to say to myself, makes you get up in the morning and go.
Yeah.
Even though you don't know what the money's going to be like or what the situation's going to be, but when you wake up and it's like, this is what I want to do when I wake up this morning.
Yeah.
Then to me, that's passion.
Yeah. It's the foundation upon which every creative endeavor stands.
That's right. That's right. And the joy in what we do is that we work with so many creative people who are absolutely 100% totally passionate about what they do.
Right. Obsessively so.
That's why folks move from one coast to the other.
Exactly. And, I see what you're doing there. And passion, definitely. I mean, it was definitely passion. I remember Transformers had just come out when I arrived at Clark, and Michael Bay was using lens flares excessively in that movie, and I really loved the look. And I remember asking the professors, what is that? What is that? I don't think I wasn't really describing it very well. But I'll never forget this. April Lundy, who was my professor, told me to go to PC&E and ask them questions about cinematography. And all the things that I wanted to see and wanted to replicate in my own work. And so I went out to PC&E, and it was the coolest experience ever. That's back when the Red 1 had come out. So Red had just barely released their first camera. And so I told them I was a Clark Atlanta student. They set up one of those old. They didn't even ask me any more questions. They took me into their that little rental space where they ring you up, and they set up an old Red 1 camera, and they opened this vault that was like the craziest. It was the craziest thing I'd ever seen in my life. It was a vault full of lenses from ARRI lenses, just the craziest, most expensive lenses. They told me to pick one, and I just happened to pick an anamorphic lens. And so I put the lens on the camera, turned it on, and I tilted it, and the lens flared. So just like that, my question was answered. How do you get a lens flare with an
Mm.
anamorphic lens? Just like that. So that was beautiful, and that was one of the things that continued to foster my passion in film, is just being able to replicate some of the cinematic artifacts that you see in film. It's beautiful to see that live. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Well, someone asked, are there opportunities for music producers in virtual production?
Uh, I think insofar that movies need music, you know what I mean? But as far as virtual production specific to the space of virtual production, um, that's really not an area that exists within that space.
Mhm,
That's a broader thing, a broader category that
mhm,
applies to the
mhm,
entire production. Yeah.
mhm, mhm. Okay, okay, thank you. All right. So, Taharka, I'm going to show you mine if you show me yours.
All
So you
right.
go first.
Okay. Oh yeah. What was it? Oh my God. Well, I had something. Oh man, I have nothing around. What is it?
Are you serious?
Okay, here we go. Here we go. So here is our brand new, beautiful Phantom Roland Phantom keyboard, which is an incredible keyboard.
Oh my.
Yeah. So
I love it. What do you do with that, Taharka?
right now we're exploring orchestral scores. So we're doing a lot more orchestral music. Um, so we're trying to, we're wading into doing different music. We're putting together an album, which we're pretty excited about, which is it's a different genre than you're used to seeing black folks in, synth wave. So we're excited. That's what that's about.
I love it. I love it. So I have a keyboard. I'm not going to show you mine,
Okay.
but my late brother had a keyboard that I brought to my house,
Oh,
and so far I've mastered the on button.
okay. Okay.
That's it. I'm
Hey,
going to
that's where it
call.
starts.
That's where it starts. One of
Where it
my
starts.
producers is going to come by and just show me some basics. And as my son always says, Mom, well, you know it's on the internet. So I've got to drill down that way, but I'm very excited because of the sounds, the
Yeah.
various sounds that you can create. I'm excited about that. So I'm
Yeah.
going to show you mine, and
Okay, here
it's
we go.
something that's going to be yours very soon.
Ah, very cool. I need that.
Okay?
I need that.
And so that you can wake up in
Beautiful.
the morning and think about
Absolutely.
BronzeLens. That's what
Absolutely. Cheers.
to
Cheers.
you. This is yours coming soon. All right, so
Absolutely.
let's see if we got any more questions. We have some time left here. Do we have any more questions for Taharka? You've been so gracious with your time, and
Oh, no
thank you very much. I'm only getting up close so I can read what's there. Okay, so.
problem.
All right, just hold on. I'm just going to see if there's some other questions here. Siobhan says, I'm loving this conversation. Well, thank you. We're
Right on.
glad. And let me see. Is there anything else? Did I miss something here with anybody? Good concept. Love that. People are definitely requesting those links. So Rhea Posey, who is our social media manager, is going to go back and capture all of the links that we've talked about today. And when this video posts on our BronzeLens website, bronzelens.com, we will also post all the various links with it.
Okay.
So give us 24 hours, everybody, to view this on our website, and we will have the links there. And she'll probably put it also in the bio on the IG page. Okay.
Cool.
Any more questions, anybody? Did I get? Yes, that's what she said. I'll post them on the BronzeLens page. Um, okay. Please repost. Any questions for Taharka before we someone says, I can't read it. I'm going to discover how to do this. How did you get into the virtual side of things? Great question, the L. Baldwin.
Yeah.
How
Um,
did you get over there? Yeah.
so I'm just a nerd, and I love I love new technology, and I love computer generated images. I've been a fan of science fiction since I can remember. So it was just a natural thing. I taught digital compositing in cinema last semester. Um, so it was a natural thing for me. I've been doing compositing since college, since undergrad. So just being a nerd, being interested, being obsessed with awesome stuff and awesome computer generated images. That's really how I waded in.
Yeah, someone said nerds rule.
Show
So.
you right. Show you right. Absolutely.
Oh, man. All right. Any other questions for Taharka? So while you're thinking of your questions, let me, before you go, let me just get out a few announcements for BronzeLens. Next week, BronzeLens Live, our guest is Pastor Greenleaf, Keith David. So I really want y'all to tune in for that and join us for a delightful conversation. I've known Keith. We acted together in theater 20, 30 years ago.
Wow.
And to just see how he's blown up and that amazing voice of his. And I'm very excited about having him as my guest next week. We've also got a BronzeLens media reception coming up, and we've got our BronzeLens nominees coming up. And I'm going to announce the nominees. So as you know, we announced the official selections about 2 weeks ago. And of all of those films that were selected, there are a few in each category that will rise to the level of nominee. And that is, they will be eligible for the best in their category, along with prize money that goes along with that. So coming up next week at the end of our show with Keith, I will be doing the BronzeLens official nominee selections for this year. So y'all make sure that you tune in for that. And then August 11th through 16th is BronzeLens Film Festival, the virtual experience. And I want everybody to just be sure and come and check us out. We are going to survive based on people actually coming into the portal through our website to view our films. We have them loaded in such a way that you can buy a package of films, morning, afternoon, every day. Morning films, afternoon films every day. We also have a powerhouse conversation each day with some really interesting people. My tease is the Real Divas, which is a group of women that are producers, screenwriters, directors, are handling our Friday powerhouse. And I have some other great names that I'm going to tell you next week when you tune in to watch Keith David with me. But BronzeLens, 11th through the 16th of August, you can view our films, 77 films, on our website, which is bronzelens.com. And you will have access to our films, and we'll show you how to get in, how to buy a package of films, how to view the powerhouse. We have a DJ at the end of each evening, so we can virtually connect that way. And we think it's adventurous on our part, Taharka. This is for us, like you getting into the virtual world with the things that you do.
Yeah.
Having a film festival that we've been used to having as a brick and mortar festival, you know, being able to see people and go to 7 venues and run here and there, and you know, this is very different. But we are committed to showing amazing content, and we're committed to the filmmakers that are submitted to BronzeLens. And when I tell you, there are excellent films. Every single film has been judged, and most of them they judge on a score of 1 to 10 across various categories. And when I tell you the number of films that are 10s is just amazing. I'm so excited about the films we have: webisodes, features, narrative features, documentaries, short documentaries, music videos, and short films. And so we're just looking forward to sharing all of that with everyone the 11th through the 16th of August. I have more details to come, but I thank you, everybody. I want you to just continue to tune in. See us next week, Taharka. I want to see your name scroll up here too.
Of course. I'll be here. I'll be
Yes,
here.
and
Thank you.
send me your address so I can get something to you, okay?
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Send me your address. And everybody, just thank you so much for your attention and your time. Thank our guest. We just really love him. He's been a great partner
Oh,
for
thank you.
BronzeLens and a great support for us. And I just appreciate you making time today, Taharka.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Okay, all right then. So we'll see you later, everybody. Don't forget to wash your hands, mask up, take good care of yourselves, and we'll see you next week on BronzeLens Live. Have a
All
good
right.
one.
All right,
Bye.
y'all.